I am not selfish for being worried about the government overreach in Canada. So welcome back to the Freedom Pines podcast. I'm your host, Jamie B. If you like looking at things from an independent perspective and debriefing internet culture, pop culture, and politics, please give me a like, comment, and subscribe, and turn on those notification bells because I really need it right now, guys. And share the podcast. Thank you, guys. Let's get into today's video. So here's the situation. In Canada, you will be in trouble for going into the woods for a hike more than you would be if you started the fire that they're telling you that they're keeping you out of the woods to prevent, and that is why you are banned from hiking in Nova Scotia and New Brunswick. Okay, so let me get this straight. I can go into the forest, start the fire, and have less consequences than if I just went for a walk in the forest. Yeah, you heard that right. Oh, Canada. So I posted this. I made 3 viral-ish TikToks about this situation, okay? First of all, I want to say Tim Houston and Doug Ford, not real conservatives. They clearly did not support PierrePoilievre, and I am not a homer, okay? I'm not a homer anyways. Just because you call yourself conservative doesn't mean I'm going to automatically support you because I'm not in a cult. So everybody calling me, oh, the conservatives are complaining about conservatives. These are not real conservatives. Tim Houston, Doug Ford, not real conservatives, okay? Doug Ford is smart by not putting on a ban, okay? He's smart. He knows Ontario would be up in arms about him doing stuff like that because first of all, I don't understand how places like Aurelia and stuff catch fire. Really? Who's doing that? What do you mean there's fires in Southern Ontario? That's not Northern Ontario. That's Southern Ontario. So they're now lighting Southern Ontario on fire and still no consequences. Okay, makes sense. This person says, the entire country is on fire. We don't have enough resources to deal with it. You want more to go up in smoke. What do you want? I want the people who start these fires to be held accountable first. I want the government who put me into poverty to save the planet to actually use the money that they put me into poverty to save the planet to save the damn planet. What do you mean we haven't built or bought any water bombers? I don't know how many times I have to repeat myself. I'm sorry, guys. I know I'm repeating myself from previous videos, but what do you mean? What do you mean? The government has done nothing except for punish us. Why don't you call in help from the G7? Why did it take till yesterday for you guys to get Americans to come over here? And you know what? I will say this. In 2023, people are like, oh, they were banned in 2023. And they were actively allowing fires to happen in 2023. How do I know? Because I live in Northern Ontario, actual Northern Ontario. I lived right near those fires that were in Rouen in Quebec, okay? I had friends who were part of the fire department who were literally told that they were not allowed to fight these fires. The MNR told them no. What the hell is going on in this country that people think that we should be punished? Okay, because here's the thing. Not all of Nova Scotia is on fire. It mostly looks like the parts that are, lithium and uranium is about to be mined under. But, that's neither here nor there. I'd understand your complaints right now if you lived in Nova Scotia. There's a fire ban where I am right now. I'm not going to start one just for the sake of expressing my freedom. No, First of all, fire bans week to week, normal. That's what we deal with in Northern Ontario. That's not what I am talking about, okay? I'm talking about banning you from hiking, fishing, boating, all of those things that genuinely could never start a fire. You can ban smoking and find someone for smoking in the woods. Go for it. But banning people from hiking in the woods, and you know what? I think it's a bit extreme, but I understand in circumstances like this, that if you're smoking in the woods during the summer or during these times, that you would get some sort of fine. Okay, I get it. But at the same time, how about we first start with punishing the criminals who are starting the fires. I am not sure why this is not just common sense to people. I genuinely don't. And I don't like talking to people like they're stupid. But the left, I have gotten to the point where I don't know how they can live in this cognitive dissonance. You guys sit there all the time. They tell me we weren't actually locked down. Nobody was locked in their house. This is the type of delusional stuff that they say to me. Nobody forced you in your house. Okay, then nobody's forcing me to stay out of the forest and I'm going to do whatever I want. What don't you understand? Like, you cannot have it both ways. You cannot do this to people. Oh my God. You cannot turn around later and say that the measures that they put in place to keep us safe never happened. Okay, you can't just do that, because it actually did happen. And just because people weren't sitting at our doors with pew-pews, like guarding it, making sure that we don't leave, doesn't mean that we didn't get ticketed. I broke the rules all the time. It doesn't mean I wasn't living in fight or flight mode, expecting a $50,000 ticket for leaving my house and hanging out with my GD friends. It doesn't mean that my kids weren't also in fight or flight, because even though we all broke rules, we had to have a plan if the police show up to hide the amount of people that we had in our house, because apparently people do not understand that people were actually getting in trouble for having parties, for going out. And what planet do we live in that they act like we did not have a lockdown? We absolutely had a lockdown. We were locked in our homes and there was repercussions if we left. The playgrounds were caution taped off. Where do we go? They're like, you weren't locked down. Every single store, every single playground, every single hiking trail was closed. What do you mean we weren't locked in our homes? We had some of the longest lockdowns in Quebec and Ontario in the world. And they will still sit there and say, like, even when you complain about what happened yesterday, I had a demon exiled from my womanly thing. Okay, I'm sorry if that's disgusting. It's because I took that stupid thing. And when I complain about it, because if you think that this government is going to injure me to the point where I can no longer work and I am not going to not talk about it, that's insane. And it's actually very not feminist of them too, okay? The only reason I'm speaking out is because I clearly see, I was taught as a feminist, when I was a feminist, to speak out when you see things that are going on that are wrong. Well, I'm seeing a lot of wrong, okay? This person says, oh no, I can't go into the woods. What will I do? You realize this country, once again, put us into poverty to save the planet. Okay, so we cannot afford to go on family vacations. On purpose, they do not want us to be able to afford that. They said it in the House of Commons. I shared it in my last video. So I can't go to Wonderland. I can't go to Santa's Village because I cannot afford any of these things, guys. I can't go to Niagara Falls. These are things that I used to do 5 times a year with my kids. And you guys are like, oh, it sounds like you didn't budget. I don't buy new things. I'm not a bougie person. I never, my aesthetic is thrifted. So all of the money that we ever spent went into going into our house and traveling with our children around Canada on hotel trips, okay? And just like my grandma left me that note that said, carry on the traditions and the legacy, when I can't even do the bare minimum after you guys let my grandma die in a fucking hospital bed because she was suffering with cancer because you guys didn't get the treatment that she needed to her on time, and she died the most slow, painful death, and the best thing that I could do to honor her life is to do the things she wants me to do, which is be a good mother. And I can't even do the things that I want to do that my grandma as a single mom did with my fucking dad. It's unbelievable that I have to explain to people why Canadians are so pissed. So I made a video and I was like, what's so good about being a Canadian? And then I looked around and in the video, it was like looking around to different parts of why Canada is so crappy to live in. And I talked about how our roads are unsafe because the government exploits immigrants. I said We're taxed at 43%. Groceries are unaffordable. We don't have access to our services. 75,000 Canadians have died waiting for health care. 1 in 20 people are choosing MAID, blah, blah, blah. This is what a left-leaning person commented on that video with a rainbow flag, okay? The no space for hate people are no space for hate unless you're a conservative. Unless you think differently than me. Okay. You're welcome to kindly F off, they use the real word, and leave if you hate it so much, which this was allowed to go through. No filter. Go ahead, go to the states where you'd be broke and bankrupt, where you're having your rights as a woman stripped away. Go already, stop talking and just do it. I said, my rights were stripped when you made me take a medication to keep my job and enjoy life. My menstrual cycle has changed and been turned on high for a whole 4 years now. Don't make me gross you out and show you. I take photos. If y'all think I wouldn't keep proof of the disgusting injury you've subjected me to, think again. Coercion doesn't equal consent. And then I said I wanted this lefty comment to live in a video forever. Great, stunning example of their empathy that they expect from everyone else but will never give in return. I didn't say give in return, but I wanted to now that I think about it. These are, keep in mind, the kind, tolerant left in Canada. Left-leaning people. Okay, here's the thing. It's like this Spider-Man meme where we're all pointing at each other. But here's the thing. The left are the ones who say that they are empathetic. They are the ones who care about human rights. They are the ones that are, kind. And I just don't know why everyone can't be like us. You guys are not kind. If you have the expectations of Christians or conservatives or whatever you want to say, being kind to you, why do you not have that expectation upon yourself? And the things that we fight about are so absurd, okay? It's not even like America. We're not even fighting over gay marriage. We're fighting literally over if teachers are allowed to literally transition your child behind your back. That's no. How about no? How about you don't know anything? How about there's a process to this? And since when do we just ignore the duty to report? If you think someone's being abused because they're not allowed to be themselves, isn't that a duty to report, not let's transition the child? Every single thing that the left has done in the past 5 years has been so extreme in Canada. I do not trust you guys. You guys won the election because they lied to you and said that we were going to become the 51st state, even though we are way more likely right now to become the 51st state, because I know you guys think, oh, MarkCarney cut off all of his people. He knows nobody. He knows nothing about his blind trust. He does not owe all of the billionaires that he's worked for the last, I don't know, however many years and been a part of the club. He's definitely not going to give them, all of the things that we say happens with conservatives. When will the left realize big green is as bad as big oil? Okay. I don't know what time, a period, I need to remind you guys of stuff, but like the lobotomy was looked at as a good thing because it relieved people's suffering. That was just a lobotomy. We are putting people down to relieve their suffering. And you guys think you're on the right side of history because it was peaceful? It was peaceful because drowning is peaceful because they paralyze you and then fill your lungs with water. This country, the hiking ban was like the cherry on top. And I heard September 15th, we are all meeting in Ottawa because we've had enough. I don't think there's any leaders. I don't think there's any organizers. I think we're all just going there to show everybody at Parliament Hill what we think. Because I'm tired of this. This government can't keep doing this. Just like during COVID, that they're using the exact same playbook. Okay. Oh, you can't go into the woods, not because we're afraid of you starting a fire. No. You just won't have access to these services. That's exactly why we were locked down too. That's exactly why we were locked down last time, because we didn't want to overwhelm the system. Well, that's kind of funny coming from people who continuously allow unlimited new Canadians, because I can't talk normally, into the country. Oh, we don't want to overwhelm our systems, but let's let millions of people in the country when we haven't built a single social service, infrastructure, literally anything. Okay, but yes, you Nova Scotians, stay in your damn house. Don't go in the woods. Don't go hiking. Don't go have any fun. Despite your whole province being on fire, if you're literally somewhere where you can still go for a hike and you're not allowed to, I don't know. I don't know how this is not the most, and I'm using the leftist language in hopes that they get it. You guys complain about us being colonizers all the time. Do you think that it's not the most colonizer crap in the world to ban us from going in the freaking woods? For our own good. It's for our own good. You guys sound exactly like the people who probably made reservations in residential schools happen. What I don't understand, like even Frank Dominic, okay? If you read about what happened in residential schools, even 2021, before 2021, you should be questioning if you want to work for the system still. I see abuse in schools on all ends, from staff, from children to staff, staff to children. Nobody does anything about it. We have not learned a single GD thing from anything. All of this history that they want to blame us for, it's because they want to distract us from the fact that they're doing it right now. When people can't afford, when I say that I can't afford groceries and the left comes back and says things like, when I say that I can't afford groceries and I can't afford to take my kids on a vacation, they say, well, you're not budgeting better. You're not budgeting properly. This is my whole job. I don't get my hair done, okay? Until I make some money on YouTube, I literally don't spend anything on myself. I've been doing my own nails for 4 years now, okay? Since COVID, I taught myself how to do a lot of things. I get my hair done once a year. I no longer get my eyelashes done. I do not do anything. I do not get facials anymore. I do not do literally anything for myself. And we could do that while we were living on one salary 3 years ago. That's no longer possible when groceries are $800 a freaking week, 2 weeks, if not more. There's no way it's only $400 a week to feed my family of 5. It's got to be significantly more at this time. And they keep telling me things like, that's a you problem. Oh, okay, let's talk about things that are a you problem. And so I just want to end this video by asking guys, do you think this is incompetence, or do you think that this is purposeful? Do you think that this is globalization? Because here's the thing, I agree with most of the time with someone who said this, and then they made a video a couple days ago saying that this is all incompetence and not, and I just seen it for the first time, and not the government out to get you. I wish I didn't believe, I wish I didn't believe there's no such thing as coincidences. I wish I could see, here's the thing, Trudeau, incompetent. I could see the puppeteer MarkCarney sitting in a boardroom with Trudeau. Trudeau does some sort of, let's just say there's powder substance on the thing, does that. And then him and MarkCarney talk about, and this is just my scenario made up in my head. Him and MarkCarney talk about how great mass immigration is, because honestly, I've been on the side that does convince you it's a good idea. But I'm living in reality where I'm seeing the ramifications of it, okay? Unsafe roads, immigrants being exploited, Canadians not having access to jobs, okay? It's a massive problem. We don't have access to our social services because we have too many people overrunning the system. I wish that telehealth didn't call me during the first school lockdowns and tell me that they were watching me, okay? I wish I didn't live in a place where I was stolen $4,000 and they just let it happen. I also wish I didn't live in a place where my ex-best friend could call the police on me and say, hey, can you please tell her I'm not paying her back for the service and tell her to stop messaging me? Thank you. I didn't know I would be living in a country like that. I too, until I went through all of the things at the hands of the government, you know, if our banks weren't part of the World Economic Forum, I wouldn't even have thought. I had a hunch, and that's why I went searching to see if Scotiabank was part of WEF, and they are. Okay, I don't have these thoughts because I'm delusional. I don't not trust the government because I'm delusional. I don't trust the government because they've given me no reason to show me that they are trustworthy or that they're incompetent. In fact, I've seen the part and the documents that showed that Trudeau did not know what would happen to people when they took that thing. And he got up on the television and said, this is safe and effective, safe and effective, safe and effective, safe and effective. What did we learn? And the MK Ultra things, what do? They isolate people and then put in repeated messages. That does not seem accidental to me. You know, I truly wish that I could still have any hope left in any government. I'm at the point where I want to run for council. Like, I'm done with this. I am done with it. If this is incompetence, get the hell out. If it was get out. If it was incompetence, we would not have another liberal government, because our mass population wouldn't have been convinced that the people who ruined our country for the last 10 years were the right people to save the country from Donald Trump. Like, if this was not purposeful, NDP would have had a new leader. Okay, Jagmeet Singh would not have thrown his party on the altar of sacrifice for MarkCarney if this wasn't done on purpose. If they didn't put us into poverty and admit that to save the planet, I wouldn't think this was on purpose. If they didn't offer, if 1 in 20 people weren't accessing MAID in Canada, I would think that this was not on purpose, that this was incompetence. I don't know how many Canadians can be screaming from the rooftop that something's wrong and it just still be our leaders being stupid. I really don't. I think that they're very calculated. Screaming, calling us selfish, that sounds exactly like what they did during COVID. And this is all a well-documented plan on a website. Like, it's not even something I'm making up. They literally, the Liberals are part of WEF, and WEF's goal is that we will own nothing and be happy. What do you think that, what does anybody think that means? Why did the left not care about it? They care, the IDU. Okay, yes, I don't like anything that's on a global scale, but I can also admit that the Conservatives are part of like a national conservative whatever group, but so are the Democrats and Liberals. People don't care about WEF. 51st state is part of WEF's plan, you guys. We're going to be the North American Americas, okay? And so comment down below. Do you think that this is incompetence, or do you think that this is purposeful? Do you think people who disagree with the hiking ban are selfish, or do you think they're kind of reasonable? Let me know, because I like discussions. I like disagreements. I like, let's respect each other. And yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow. I'm sorry, this is basically me saying the same stuff as Monday, in my opinion, maybe, but a little bit of different stuff. But I just... What the hell, Canada?